Everything feeds off something, and you become who God intended you to become when you realize that you are the one that supplies them with their food or not. Everything can be starved as well. You have dominion over yourself in the earth. What you think is the closest thing to the spiritual realm on this physical world. The eyes are the gateway to the soul. The eyes are connected to your brain. The eyes are your brain, because your mind is directly linked to that. When you see something, in order for you to have sight, you have to perceive it mentally first. How do you think Satan speaks to you? He speaks to you in your mind. And we know, as believers, we know all of our thoughts are not our own. And when you're thinking, if you're listening, then who's talking, right? So you have two voices in your head. One is God and one is the devil. Guarding your mind is just as important, because everything happens mentally before it happens physically, and everything happens spiritually before it happens mentally. The barrier between what happens in your physical life in the spiritual warfare that's happening in the spiritual realm is your mind. That is the guard, that is the gate, that is the portal between the spiritual and physical in your life. So it needs to constantly be monitored and guarded, and that thing is called focus. Your mind feeds what you're focused on, and it also starves what you're not thinking about. Humans are animals. You have to eat, and after a while, if you don't eat, you begin to starve yourself, and if you prolong that starvation, you will die. When it comes to spirituality, the things that you feed grow. The Holy Spirit gets stronger, and you can hear it more the more you get closer to God, read your word, and things of that sort. The more you sin, the more you're in a life of sin, the Holy Spirit dies off. And then dark entities grow, demons grow, negative thoughts grow. Not only can you starve bad things, you can starve good things by doing bad things. The more you focus on something, it starves the opposite of that. If you focus on positivity, you starve negativity. If you focus on negativity, you starve positivity. As you'll realize, whatever you think about, whatever you constantly think about, whatever your focus is on, your actions will follow that. Your spirit will follow that. So look at it like this. If you focus on the good spirit of God, your mind and body will follow that. But it's the mind first. That mind, you have to get your mind right. The Father says the only sin to flee from is sexual immorality. That's the only sin that he tells you not to fight. Why? You cannot fight sexual immorality because it's embedded within your nature. Being sexual is a good thing within the confines of the covenant of marriage, but it becomes immoral when you don't do it the right way. That's why he tells you to flee from it, because it's naturally embedded within you. You're never going to not be able to completely starve it. That's one of the only sins you cannot completely starve, because it's not fully a sin when you do it within marriage. But being sexual outside of the confines of what it was made for, it becomes sexual immoral. And so it's not something that's going to completely die off. That's why he tells you to run from it. You can't beat it. You can't starve it. When your mind is focused on something that doesn't align with God or your purpose, you focus on the opposite positive of that, of whatever you're thinking. Don't just do the opposite of that. Satan is deceiving. Sometimes the opposite of that is still negative. You can have a porn problem and say, okay, I need to focus on the opposite of this. Is that to deal with your porn problem, not only do you stop watching porn, but now you go out and you sleep with real women without marrying them, right? But no, that is still negative. This is why I add in that positive. You need to focus on the opposite and positive of whatever you're thinking or going through. Because if you just focus on the opposite, it can still lead you down a path that don't serve you. But focusing on using that sexual energy to get married to a beautiful woman, God-fearing woman. A wise man once told me that people ask this gardener, how does your garden grow so beautifully and fast all the time? And he says, is that I don't focus on spending extra time nurturing to the plants. I spend extra effort uprooting what's stopping the plants from growing. Most of y'all in y'all life, y'all realize, y'all wonder why y'all trying so hard and shit ain't working. It's not that you need to try harder. It's that you need to uproot those things that's hindering your growth. Sometimes actually you putting in the correct amount of hard work and effort that you're supposed to be putting in. But there are things in your life that's hindering your growth and slowing you down when it comes spiritually, physically, and mentally. If you don't know where to start or if it feels too complex, in the simplest terms, before you do every single thing throughout your entire day, right? Before you do every single thing that you do, always ask yourself, am I serving God and my purpose? And if I am, what do I need to be doing right? And when you act upon those thoughts, you'll be so surprised how quick that answer comes to you. And when you act upon that thought, At the end of the day, when you laying in your bed, ask yourself, was that a good day or not? And do you feel accomplished, and do you feel closer to your goal and your dream life? And I promise your answer is going to be yes. So I thank y'all for listening to me today. We are almost at 300 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 500, man. Y'all are doing a great job. And again, I want to thank y'all again. And I can't wait to see y'all in the next video, man.